Shalom. Shalom, giving all praise and glory and honors unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Zion from GMS Atlanta. Back with another video. And this actually would be like a land back off of this previous video that I put up a few hours ago. Elon Musk, Twitter X, and Neuralink all tie into 603.6 and the MOTB. Okay, and I pretty much was just showing, the correlation between the and you can see here the new Twitter X symbol and the Chi character. The Chi Greek letter, all right, which is the character or one of the characters for 6 and 6 in Revelation 13 and 18. So I'm gonna bring this out here. I'm going to read this precept, the scripture, and I'm going to go into it because I found something else. Interesting about the characters of 603.6 as well. All right. But let me read it. It says, Revelation 13 and 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603.6. Now, you never hear these other Israelite groups go into this verse. They don't even go into the 17th verse, really. Or if they do, they break it down totally different from the 16th verse, as if it's a different understanding. Okay, when you can clearly see, and if you understand grammar, all right, you have a colon here, and that colon means that there's going to be the next sentence is pertaining to the previous one. Like, for example, if you say grocery list colon, then you list everything pertaining to the grocery list that you might need. So everything in the 17th verse corresponds to the 16th verse, because the 17th verse is explaining what the MARK and the right hand and forehand will give the person, whether he's rich or poor, small or great, free or bond, what he'll be able to do with the Charagma, right? The MARK. So pretty much verse 17 is explaining the applications of the MARK. All right? So now when you go into the 18th verse, all right, you have to get an understanding on what 603.6 is. Now, I went into this, like I said, yesterday, and I was just able to put the video up this morning, I believe, and then I did another video earlier. So now when you go into this in the Greek, it takes you to this in the Greek here, Chi Psi Stigma. Okay? So Chi Psi Stigma.
Strong's G 5516. Chi Psi Stigma. Chi Psi Stigma.
Okay. Chi Psi Stigma. And the Chi corresponds to the 22nd The psi corresponds to the 14th and then an obsolete letter of the Greek alphabet. Okay? Now also this as well, when you look up the Greek alphabet, that corresponds to this here, where it says the Greek alphabet has been used to write the Greek language since the late 9th or early 8th century BC, and it is derived from the earlier Phoenician alphabet, okay, or the Hebrew. Okay, the Phoenician alphabet goes back into the Hebrew. Okay, see here, the Phoenician script, that's the Paleo-Hebrew. Okay, and to prove that, when you go into the Paleo-Hebrew, all right, not the Assyrian Hebrew or the block letter Hebrew, but the real ancient Hebrew, okay, which is the same characters. So that's where the Greek comes from, which proves that the Hebrew is the actual language, first language that all the other languages came from. Okay, so now going back here, chi psi stigma. All right, like I said, I looked up chi, and that corresponded to, I keep saying that word, corresponding, for lack of a better word, excuse me. But that chi represents, you know what? Let me just look it up again. And if you look it up, it is the 22nd letter of the Greek alphabet. Okay. And it also means the number 600. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. It represents 600. That's the value of that character. Okay, so this is just going into, let me see here. Let's go back. All right, you look it up. Search the web. Here we go. So the chi letter, I think this is where I found it at. Right, okay, so the Greek number of chi, the Greek numeral, has a value of 600. Okay? 600. So that's where they get that numbering from. 600, 3 score and 6. There's a number of different, symbolisms for it. Chi or X is often used to abbreviate the name. It says Christ is in the holiday Christmas. Yeah, so it goes into different Greek symbols. But what I want to get out of here, okay, let me see, X. All right, X is the 24th letter of the Latin alphabet using the modern English alphabet. And as you can see, the chi, right? Now they say here the chi comes from, let me see here, let me go into it, the history. The history of the X or the chi, which in the Hebrew, as I showed before, in the Paleo-Hebrew, this character X, right, or chi, is the last letter, the tha. That would be tha in the Hebrew. Okay? So it's just the Hebrew character tha. But when you look it up, it goes back to, let me see here, use in writing systems. And this is something that I just found recently. Okay. Right. Okay. So the development. So the development of this character goes back to the Hebrew. See, the Phoenician letter samak. Right. And that's where they take it back to. The 15th letter of the Phoenician. Now, Abjad goes back to the consonant letters called samak. Right? Samak. Let me see here. Samak. Now, I want to get what the samak means or what it is. Or samek. Let me see here. Because it should take you to, let me see here. It should tell you the meaning of the character. Oh, you know what? I do it like this. Let's do it like this. Let's go back. All right, let's go back. And you should be able to look it up. Right, so this character goes back to the Greek letter chi. But now, I had it up earlier, but pretty much what the samak means is support. Okay, support. All right. Now, the Hebrew character samak means support. Okay. But now let me show you something. Let me go back here. Going back to chi psi stigma. And then we're going to look up the character for psi. Right? Psi. Psi letter, right? It's the 14th letter of the Greek alphabet. Okay? And in the system of Greek numerals, it has a value of 60. It was derived from the Phoenician letter samak. So this one takes you back samak. Now it says here psi is distinct from the letter chi, which gave its form to the Latin letter X. Okay? But they have the same meanings here in the Greek. Okay? These are different languages. Okay? So you have chi, right? Or psi, 14th letter. And once again, what does it mean? In the system of Greek numerals, it has a value of 60. Okay, so you have your chi, psi, right? Which both go back to let me see, which both go back to see, psi, right? Psi. Also the Roman numeral 11. Because all these languages are, they go back and forth to, with each other. Okay? Back and forth with each other. Right? But when you look it up, it goes back to Samak. Right? See, Psi was derived from the Phoenician letter Samak. Now, when I looked this up, this is what it took me to, right? Samak. Let me see. Let me look it up. Yeah, so Samak. Samak is the 15th letter, okay, of the alphabet. Shemitic, right? Including Phoenician Samak, Hebrew Samak, and the Assyrian text, Aramaic Samak, and Arabic. Okay, which looks like the Aramaic but just turned on its sideways, and the Syriac. Okay. And then you have the Aramaic and the Arabic. Okay. Which just says, yep, the numerical value of Samak is 60. And in the Hebrew language, the Samak has the same pronunciation as the left. No, that's the Shah. The Shah does not have the same pronunciation. You have Sa. Samak is Sa, like an S sound, and Shah is a Shah sound, like an SH sound. So they're wrong on the pronunciation of that. So look, the origin of this, okay, when you look up Samak, the origin, which it says the Phoenician letter may continue a glyph from the Bronze Age alphabet, either based on the hieroglyph. With all of the languages go back to the Hebrew, even the Egyptians, right, and the Canaanites, which both the Egyptians and Canaanites are Ham. And the Canaanites spoke Hebrew as well. The ancient Egyptians just used hieroglyphs or actual pictures to represent certain things that they were trying to say. But that doesn't take away from the Hebrew. So it says it can represent a peg or support pillar, right? Samak, support, rest, peg, post, armrest, stake, right? A stake. So when you look up stake, okay, it says what? A strong wooden or metal post with a point at one end, driven into the ground, okay, to support a tree, form part of a fence, act as a boundary mark. Okay? So now that definition and that understanding, okay, now you have to go back to Revelation 13. Let's see here. How do I want to pull this out? Let's go into Revelation. Open this in a new tab. Let's go to Revelation 13. Let's go to the 16th verse. And when you look up the 16th verse for the word mark, okay, just follow along with me. It takes you to Charagma. Okay? Charagma, which means something imprinted, branded, carved. All right, you see the definitions here. But you got to go to these root words. Okay? Now, the root word for this is karax. All right? And what is it? Takes you to the etymology karatzo, to sharpen to a point. Okay? And what does that definition mean for karax? Pale or steak. Okay? Steak. And when you look up steak, it takes you to the same definition. All right? So even 603 when you go into the characters and get the numbers, the meanings behind these characters still go into something physical, something that is used to poke something. Okay? And then when you look up this character here, stigma, all right? Stigma, and you look up the character stigma, it says a Greek symbol, digamma, or which basically means two characters, okay, or two letters. The name stigma is originally a common Greek noun meaning a what? A M-A-R-K dot or puncture, okay, or generally a sign from the verb to puncture. And when you get the MOTB, you puncture it into your skin. Let's look up puncture. When you look that up, a small hole in a tire resulting in an escape of air, puncture, right? When you puncture something, make a puncture in something. Make a hole in, pierce. And see, all these definitions we brought out before, similar to pierce, penetrate, rupture, perforate, stab, cut, prick. All right, prick, impale. That's where you get palisade from. Impale something, impale it into the ground. Stick, prick. Right, and I looked up prick. Okay, prick, to make a small hole in something with a sharp point. Pierce slightly. Okay, an act of piercing. When you pierce something, you pierce it with a needle or something short. Sharp. So everything, of course, everything dealing with 606, right? Going back to Chi Psi stigma, it goes back to having something pierced into your skin or poked. So this is why you got to have the wisdom. So it can't mean anything other than what GMS says it is. And I'm not going to make this too much longer. I just wanted to show the symbolism. There's a numerical value to the Greek, but there's symbolism, and there's a real meaning behind that vibration of 603 because this is what Esau is going to use, just like he did with the jab with the C19. He's going to do the same thing when it comes to the MOTB. All right? And when you go to Revelation, the 3rd chapter, okay, at verse 10, all right, and these are the words of Yahushua. What does it say? Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. All right, so there's a global trial that's coming on the earth soon. All right, but it's not going to be for some sickness per se. It's going to be pursuant to verse 17, buying and selling, money. And then that word to try, all right, when you look that up in the Greek, pirazzo, what does it mean? When you look it up, to try whether a thing can be done. That's what he wants to see if he can give the micro C-hip implant and the brain implant to everyone on earth. To attempt, endeavor. This is their plan, their agenda. This is their agenda, their endeavor, their enterprise. Okay? Try hard to do or achieve something. He wants to try to achieve his NW0. Okay? To try, make, trial, test. Okay? To test you. All right? It's a test coming. Okay? Now, one of the definitions will say a trial by piercing. Okay? To test one's faith. And this time, man, when this MOTB is introduced, this is really going to test the faith of the Israelites that believe. That's why we tell these other Israelite groups, starting with IUIC, IGBK, and others, you have to get this thing right. Okay? Because the faith of the Israelites is dependent on what's to come. Okay? Let me see here. Let me get the root word. Okay? A trial, attempt, and the root word is pira. Okay, pira. Which I don't see it on here. I don't know if Blue Letter took it off. Maybe they did because brothers was bringing a lot of this information out. There we go. All right, pira. Okay. From the base, pira, to the idea of piercing, a test. So there's going to be a time of testing and trial where the elites are going to endeavor to pierce everyone. All right, to pierce everyone with the MOTB. All right, the MARK, which is an implantable device. All right. So going back to Revelation 13, 16, 17, and 18 is the point, right? I brought out, some good spiritual info on, what all this means. So with that, I hope this was edifying. All praises goes to Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, Bashim Kakudash, Shalom. Okay. Shalom. This is the brother Tazawan back again. I just want to add to this lesson. The Spirit said go ahead and I figured I'd go ahead and add this last part. Going into the actual number of the man, which is Esau, and the 606. Now, what I just went into were the Greek characters. The Greek characters here in Chi Psi Stigma all right, how they correspond to a stake and piercing or to prick, okay? And then even the origin of some of the characters, like going back to the Hebrew and the different languages, and then their numerical values of being 660, of being 600, and then another 60, and then another 6, respectively. But now going back into the actual number, right? 13 and 18, Revelation 13 and 18. Now, how they're going to tie the piercing of the MOTB back into buying and selling is when you buy and sell, you have to use a UPC code, right? A UPC code. You know, and then you look at these barcodes, and you can see here each corresponding. Now, this is just like a representation of any barcode, but you can see the numbers 1 through 0 and the lines they represent, and you put a number of different combination of numbers together to get it, you know, an innumerable amount of different barcode combinations. But now the 6 is represented by these 2 long lines here, right? So when you look on the end, okay, that same 6 and these 2 long lines are represented on the end, and of course in the middle, and then on the other end, all right? And then the outside numbers represent something else, okay? But when you go through this 1 through 0 and you get the 6, that's what's on the barcodes, okay? They even show you, let me see, I had it up. And then a lot of the breakdowns in the past will say, oh yeah, well, you know, the MOTB is really the barcode. Well, no, that's the system. They use this ISBN UPC code system for tracking, you know, products that you buy and sell. All right, but the actual device that they're going to put inside humans, when they become pretty much products themselves, when Esau tries to, you know, achieve his agenda or his endeavor, okay, the barcode is going to be in people, all right? And they're going to tie it in back into the same system. And as you can see on the barcodes, those 2 lines at the end, in the middle, and at the other end, they each represent a 6, right? Even the last letter of the individual barcode number as a whole, you see that the 2 lines are the same lines at the end of the barcode, which means that is the number that represents 6 when it goes through a scanner or a reader. So this system is tied in to that number. That's why it says it is a number of the man. I mean, of a man, and that man is Esau. Okay? And how is he going to attach this number to people for buying and selling? He's going to put this. He's going to put the Karax, but he's going to put the Charagma, or the MARK that you read about in verse 16, which is a physical thing inside your body. Okay? So everything about 603 score and 6, Chi stigma, that ties back into the Charagma, you know, to cut, to pierce, to prick, to stick. That ties into the number, as well as the barcode system. And this is why the scripture says you have to have wisdom. So I just want to add this in here, continue to break it down. Giving all praises to Yahweh Bashmi Shai Bashim Kakwadash. Shalom.